Day 696 off the grid. It's a Thursday, exactly a week ago from the previous package arriving that I ordered from TradeMe. So I've got another package now. This one didn't arrive super fast, but it did arrive within the time frame that I expected. It came up from Christchurch, so obviously it had to go past the earthquake-stricken Kaikoura area. So things are taking a bit of a time to come from the South Island at the moment, but nevertheless it got here in good enough time. Fastway dropped it off this morning. But I'm going to have a cup of coffee first before I attempt to unwrap this, because as you can see, this one is wrapped up extremely substantially. Well, this ain't exactly Julian Eilit's post bag, but I've just spent the better part of 5 minutes with a knife cutting into this package, and this is how far I've got. Looks like there's an inner package there which I may be able to slide out soon. Okay, I'll carry on. Okay, we've got the outer package off. Crazy stuff. It's like one of those Russian dolls. Here we go again. And there she blows, people. It's a 3-bank Pro Sportsman edition. Yeah, because I'm such a sportsman, eh? It's a battery charger. What we have is 3 banks. 3 separate outputs here. Each of these 12 volts at 10 amps. There's the mains lead. Someone's put a bit of conduit on it, which I think I'm going to remove. Good classic Kiwiana rubber Enzide plug. I remember these as a kid. They're on everyone's extension cords, almost indestructible. It's a 230 volt model. But yeah, it's got 3 separate 10 amp banks, and each of these little windows here is an LED display for each bank, and from what I understand they're completely separate, so it's basically like 3 chargers in the same unit, 3 separate 10 amp chargers. So you can hook them up to different battery banks. You can hook them up to a 24 volt battery bank and a 36 volt battery bank, or I presume, and I'm hoping, that you can also just say hook 2 of the outputs up to 1 bank and run it in parallel. But we shall find out. I guess the next stage is to find out whether this item I've bought actually works. And yay, it looks like we've got a live on arrival today. It's plugged in. There's some blinking lights. I've connected one of the channels up to this 12 volt flattery down here. And that's obviously the middle channel, let's say channel 2. From what I recall from skimming over the instructions when I downloaded the PDF off the internet, it starts out with all the lights on and they'll slowly go out as the battery gets charged. Because these ones over here are indicating fault conditions, the fault being there ain't nothing connected. But that's what all 3 channels were doing before I connected the battery, so yeah, it's obviously working. Well, at least this channel is. I'm pretty sure the whole thing will be working. Cool! Cool, nice one! Now, it's drawing, if you can see that on the watt meter, it's drawing from the mains, and when I say the mains, of course I mean the 230 volts AC supplied by, in this case, the Latronics inverter. It's drawing 66, 67 watts, fluctuating a wee bit. It's a question of how efficient is this. If that's 67 watts... Oh, look, one's gone out. This battery's a pretty small battery, it's in pretty poor condition, so it's probably going to top off very fast. Well, 67 watts. I can't be putting out 10 amps at 12 volts would be 120 watts, so it can't be. Okay, here we go. So we're getting 72 watts now. Still got the 4 LEDs on. The clamp meter is showing 1.3 amps. Ignore the fact it's negative, that's just the way it's clamped on there. Which then itself is obviously not very efficient. I mean, we're taking 70 watts from the 230 AC and we're putting in, I don't know, 13 watts, a bit more than that, maybe 20 watts. But of course, this has got a certain overhead. It's got a big transformer in there obviously, and 2 of these channels aren't being used, but at least 2 of the channels are going to be used when I'm running it, and when I am running this off the generator, it's going to be working hard out, and I'm sure the efficiency will go up significantly at that point in time. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I was just going to say, buying all those little blue chargers that I've been buying, you know, those little auto house ones, I should actually show one of those. I don't have any in this shed at the moment. They're still in the solar room. Oh no, they're not actually. No, they're not. Yeah, they are actually. Ha! I tell a lie. These. My plan originally was to just keep buying these and build up a board of them basically. These are put out about 3.7 amps each. I figured I could just keep you know, stacking them up, but the problem is they do suck a bit of juice when you first power them on, so powering on 3 or 4 simultaneously could be a bit nasty on the generator, so I was going to have to come up with some kind of power on scheme. But now I've got this, that all goes out the window. I don't need to buy any more of those, so yeah, pretty pleased with the 3-bank Pro there. Guess I just need to put another battery on it now, don't I? I've just stuck another battery on. This is the one I normally keep in the car. It's a pretty good condition battery. I bought it once in Masterton on the way to Castle Point. It's basically our jump starter. If we ever had problems with the car battery, it stays in the boot. Occasionally it'll be an emergency supply for Beltane, but that's not the point. It's a battery, and I thought I'd just chuck it on here and top it off. It was pulling about 3-4 amps when I first put it on. Those clip leads were getting a little warm, but it's settled down now because it's a nearly full battery to begin with. It's just being topped off now, and it's on the 3rd channel here. As you can see, it did have all the lights on, but it's now dropped down to just the one because this battery is nearly finished. And also, I connected this one up while the unit was powered. I just wanted to see that it was okay just to connect the battery while this is already running, and it is, which is great. It's up to 100 watts now, so that's not too bad. The extra 30 watts for an extra battery connected is not too bad. So we're looking at a base load of about 30 watts per battery, plus 40 watts for the original overhead, I think, something like that. It never occurred to me that this was actually going to be an iron core unit. I just assumed it was going to be a switch mode, but this is iron core as fuck. You can feel the transformer and hear it. See? Yeah, I'll put the camera on there. Probably heard that buzzing away. Yeah. Which means it's going to be really robust and it's not going to blow up in 5 minutes. So there we go. This is probably all I'll do on this today. I'm just going to finish off these batteries and then close it down. And that's day 696 off the grid.